Good evening and hello. My name is Renee D. Waring and I am the founder of Uniquely and Wonderfully Made Ministries. Well, today is Christmas Eve and tomorrow will be Christmas. Happy holidays to you all. I want to welcome my community and all the new members that just joined. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to break with tradition. I'm doing some new things on my video these days. I'm going to read a dialogue that I had this past July. So let me start. The title of my dialogue is You Are Welcome, COVID-19. In other words, you are welcome, COVID-19. It was a rainy Monday, July the 1st, 2020. I was not in my right mind. That day I was not aware of my surroundings because I was preoccupied with horrifying hallucination of being in hell. I could see the demons and the fire. I found myself descending the stairs in a guarded fashion, holding on to the banister and gingerly placing one foot at a time on each step. Oh, there you are, my husband Ellis said. Here is your lunch. Sit down and eat. What's wrong, honey? He asked. I was unable to answer him because I was in a state of horror. I found myself walking around in circles and screaming at the top of my lungs. Renee, Renee, stop screaming. Please calm down. Please sit down, he said in a soothing voice. I began to quiet down. I'm calling Dr. Turner. I think that he needs to go to the hospital, he said. Within 5 minutes, he reached the doctor. Hello, Dr. Turner. Renee is having hallucinations and is screaming at the top of her lungs. What should I do? He asked the doctor. He listened to Dr. Turner's reply and hung up the phone. I was sitting in a chair shaking and crying. Come on, Renee. We are going to the emergency room. Sit there for a moment and eat your lunch. I'm going upstairs to pack some clothes for you. He went upstairs, packed some of my belongings, helped me put on my raincoat, took me to the car, and drove us to the emergency room. When we arrived, Ellis put me into a wheelchair that was in the lobby. I was shaking from my hallucinations, and I was biting my coat and crying. A nurse named Thelma called me and Ellison to the office and proceeded to ask him some questions. Is she suicidal? No, Ellis said. Has she tried to harm someone? She asked him. No, Ellis replied. Thelma then requested other information from Ellis. You have to leave now, Ellis, due to COVID-19, Thelma said. She walked over to my wheelchair and pushed me through the hallway. She took me into a room. Take off your coat and lie down on the stretcher, Renee. The psychiatric nurse will be in to see you shortly, Thelma said as she walked out of the room. Within a few minutes, the nurse came in. I was preoccupied with being in hell and murmuring to myself that I did not notice her at all. She touched me and got my attention. My name is Rhonda. What's your name? My name is Renee, I replied. We can't put you into our facility because we do not have any beds left, Rhonda said. The social worker will be in to discuss with you where you would like to be sent to. We will have to do some blood work and a CAT scan on you today. The social worker came into the room about 15 minutes later and discussed where I would like to be sent. I was served dinner, As was told me, blood was drawn and a CAT scan of my brain was done. I was awake all night. The ambulance came in the morning to transport me to the mental hospital. I fell asleep. I fell asleep. I fell asleep while I was being transported. When I awakened, the hallucinations were not as quite as bad as they had been the day before. My mind was a little clearer. However, I was still having hallucinations. It was late morning when I arrived at my destination. The admissions process was lengthy, but I was used to it. This is not my first time being admitted to a mental hospital. There is lots of paperwork. My mind kept drifting in and out of reality, so much so that I had to be cued back several times. The psychiatric aide, Brenda, opened the bag with my personal belongings in it. She put the contents on the table and began to sort them into two piles. One pile is for the items that you cannot bring into the hospital for safety reasons. The second pile is for items that you can bring into the hospital, she said. I'm going to make an itemized list of the items that you can have, she said. The other things will have to stay down here under lock and key until you are discharged from the hospital. Come on, let's go on the unit, Brenda said after everything was in order. We walked up the stairs to the first floor. I looked at the people and observed that the staff was wearing masks, but only a few patients were wearing them. What is going on here? We are in the middle of a pandemic, and some people aren't wearing masks? This is not good. I'm going to take you to your room, Brenda said. When we entered the room, she said, your bed is the one nearest the door. Just then, a lady came into the room. Kate, this is Renee, your new roommate, Brenda said. Hi, Renee, Kate said. Renee, this is Kate, Brenda said. Hi, Kate, I replied. It's time for lunch. I'll see the two of you in the dining room, Brenda said as she walked away. Where are you from? Kate asked. I'm from Havertown, I replied. And where are you from, Kate? I asked. I'm from Philadelphia, she replied. Come on, let's go eat, Kate said as we walked into the dining room. As we entered, I saw a sight that I could not believe. There were about 25 people crammed into the room with no mask on and no social distancing between them. Kate and I sat together in the only two available seats. Renee, here's your tray, Brenda said. Thank you, I replied. Kate, here's yours, Brenda said. Do you have any kids? Kate asked. Yes, I have a 23-year-old son named Elijah, I replied. Do you have any grandchildren? She asked. No, I replied. How about you? Do you have any children or grandchildren? I asked. I have two boys and one girl. I don't have any grandchildren, Kate replied. My oldest son is named Kiran. He is 12, she said. My daughter's name is Keisha, and she is 10. And my youngest is Kyle. He is 6. Well, let's hurry up and eat before our lunchtime is over, Kate said. Before I knew it, I heard, time's up. Give me your trays. Lunch is over, the psych aide Sonia said. We're going out to get some fresh air. Line up at the door, she said. When we got outside, I sat down on a bench and interacted with my hallucinations as I murmured to myself. Sonia walked over to coax me to get up and be active. but to no avail. After some time, Pat and the other psych aide blew a whistle. Come on, time to go in. Put the balls back, she said as we put them back and filed inside. Y'all sit in the day room for a group meeting, Pat said. Once again, we packed into a room with 25 people, many of whom were not wearing masks or social distancing. Pat walked into the room. People, I'm tired of seeing many of you not wearing your masks, she said. Go to your rooms and get your masks and put them on. They must be on at all times, she said. It's long past time to enforce the rule. Several people were not wearing masks for the greater part of the time of my time here. In addition, there are too many people in the room to practice social distancing. The people were saying by their actions, we welcome you, COVID-19. I'm going to get tested for COVID-19 when I get out of here. I was discharged from the hospital on July 21st. The next day, I went to get a COVID test done. It took 2 weeks to get the results. Thank God, I'll come back negative. It came back negative. I read the article in the magazine that stated that mental hospitals are hotbeds for the spread of COVID-19. I want to wish you all happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and I will talk to you again on the second Friday of January. My name is Renee D. Waring, and I am the founder of Uniquely and Wonderfully Made Ministries. I am the warrior warring